Greetings, Butts the Human Warlock. I have gone through grading your character sheet and I give you the grade of A minus. A couple things that I did notice that you did miss out on. Let's see here. Your first thing were your save proficiencies for your stats. Those would be listed on under your uh, class. That would be right here under your Warlock features. So these two stats you do have to check. Uh, that's basically your skill proficiencies. So coming back to here, we have Wisdom and Charisma. So you would have to put a check in Wisdom and Charisma. That just bumps up your save bonuses just slightly. May save your life one day. So after that, your initiative to me seems a little high. Your initiative is your dexterity bonus, or your dexterity modifier, and on here I see it's a 3. Uh, so it's automatically calculated here in this green box. So it shows your +3 here already. I don't know if you have a feature that adds to this, so I'm going to leave this how you had it. But if you didn't have anything regarding your background or your class or race, I didn't look into that too much, that adds to your initiative, leave it at this, but if it's not, just change this down to a 0. And as you can see, you get your +3 bonus from your dexterity modifier automatically. So I'll leave this up at 3. Next thing I found, let's see, over to your skills, those look all correct. Your background looks perfect, and you do love bread. Try to sneak that past me, didn't you? So we have your Warlock level 1, perfect. Your weapons look great. Except for this here, I didn't even catch this the first time round. Your crit damage, this +3, I'm not sure why that's on there. I'm going to take that off. Unless that's supposed to be there, but it doesn't seem right to me. So let me know if that was correct. I don't know why your crit damage get +3 on it. So I'll just take that off for now. So that changes that. That looks better. So I knock your A minus down to a B plus. Just kidding. I'll give you an A. A sounds good. So next, your spell book. Did a good job on this. Comprehend language here. What I would do, since this is a spell that people may not understand what it does, go ahead and select these two, because all of these here, these you can choose when you click this cast spell. See, nothing happens here, but if you start checking these boxes, they start showing up when you click this cast spell. So spells like this that don't necessarily do damage, and people might not necessarily understand what this means, what you could do is I would click the info block and the description. That way when you do hit cast spell, this all pops up. Same thing happens if you hit spell info. Like if you had these unselected and hit spell info, you get the same thing. But I usually just prefer to do that. So that way when you're in combat and do decide to cast a spell, you just have to think cast spell. So yeah, that one, I didn't read through what that does exactly. I'll read that in a minute. So next here, your burning hands. Same thing here. I see that you did do the. Did you not? I thought you did. Okay, yeah, this one you didn't put in. Oh, I started at your level 1. I thought it was on your cantrips. Okay, sorry. Your burning hands. Let's go back to that. Yeah. So your blade ward, whatever. Same thing on here. Since it's something that necessarily doesn't do damage, I'm going to go ahead and hit info block and description, and then minimize that. Here's the one where you did do correctly for your attack and damage. So yeah, you do get the 1d10 damage on here. So you have that. Stat bonus, it didn't say anything in the spell that it adds the stat bonus, so that's correct. It's a force damage, that is correct. And your Warlock attack stat is charisma, so you did get that correct. The only thing I would add on here is click on the damage here and the attack roll here. So that way when you cast this spell, it shows, ooh, I crit. It's going to be so fun when I crit all day against you guys. So I crit for 1 damage. So anyways, So yeah, here's the attack versus the opponent's armor class, and then the damage done. So I got a crit and a crit fail. Nice. So those two I will leave corrected. So whenever you want to cast a spell, just hit that cast spell. This one here shows the info. This one here we changed before, and then this one here, um, we need to go into the attack portion and change that to your charisma. And then damage, it is a 3d6. And then I do understand that it does have um, a component where your target can take less damage, but we'll worry about that when we cast the spell. So we'll go ahead and type in here 3d6, and you don't get a stat bonus to the cast or to the damage portion. No other damage, and this was fire damage. So once again, we will go here and check damage, and we will not check attack roll because it's not necessarily an attack roll. But what I would do on this one is must make dexterity saving throw. Takes 3d6 on failed save, or half as much on a successful one. Sorry, someone was screaming out my window a moment ago. So fire ignites any flammable objects that aren't being worn or carried. So what I'm going to do is put that into effects, and it's down here, and then add that to effects, so that way when we cast a spell, it shows all this here, so I know I'll remember to do this portion here. So if you're casting it against a skeleton or whatever, I'll know to do the dexterity saving throw. And in here, your spell DC, which is what the mob will need to roll to take half the damage. You're a warlock, your save DC is 10. So I'm just going to add that on here. I'm going to put spell DC 10. So what that means is if you're casting against someone or something, all they have to do is do a dexterity saving throw for 11 or higher. On a 10, it depends, honestly, who you're hitting. If you're hitting another player, yeah, they would have to do a 10 would pass. Sorry. Yeah, a 10 would pass, so they would have to roll 11 or higher. So we got all that on there. Go ahead and close these. So we have effects, damage on that one. Okay. And next we have let's see, I had one more thing I thought. No, actually no, that was the last of mine on my list. So good job. And I thought there was. Oh yeah, here's the other thing. For things like this, like a love letter, write in here who it's from and maybe a quick description of what the letter says. Same with costume. Describe what your costume looks like, and then the belt pouch just had your 10 or 15 gold pieces in it, so we won't worry too much about that. So yeah, give me a quick description of who this letter may be from and what it might contain, what it says inside, and what your costume looks like. The reason being is, say we have another person who rolls a rogue and they decide to pickpocket you and they happen to pickpocket your love letter. I'm going to want to know what that says. Like if the rogue decides to read that, we'll need a little description of kind of what that says. So yep, that should be it. Any questions about any of these changes? Let me know. That is a very frightening image. I do love your background story here. So yeah, any questions, let me know.